Kristine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Do you want me to introduce everybody, or has everyone been introduced?
Everyone's been introduced. You can hop in from here and just say hello to everybody and go ahead into the questions. Thanks so much.
I immediately see the BC logo and I went to BU, so I'm going to try not to hold that against you, Brevin.
It'll be fine. I just got here too, so no hard feelings.
So you don't even know about the BU BC rivalry yet?
No, I have no idea. I just know they got Raising Cane's right beside it, so
they
it's the
do.
only spot I eat at.
I used to live right next to Raising Cane's. Well, actually, no, they built it right after I left school, so I'm kind of jealous that you guys have that.
Yeah, that's definitely a perk.
Is that someone that you want to do a deal with, Raising Cane's?
Hey, the chicken tenders are good now and toast, so it doesn't matter to me.
They are. Rachel, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for you guys. This is all very cool. And I've learned a little bit about both of you guys, but I'm really curious as athletes, as you guys were kind of watching this whole thing unfold, and there was news that it could become a thing that you could start to make money from doing deals. How much were you paying attention to it?
I can go first.
Yeah, you are.
Sorry. I mean, probably wasn't paying that much attention to it because, like most people, I believe that it only affects mostly football, basketball, those sports. So it wasn't really in the forefront of my mind. It was kind of just like, oh yeah, that's happening, whatever. And then once it passed, some big athletes, not necessarily big in their sport, but they rose up with NIL, like Leahy done at LSU. That kind of opened my eyes and see like, hey, I actually could probably get involved in this and do something with it.
Yeah, I want to actually ask you a question about that in a second. But Brevin, were you paying attention to it the whole time, or same kind of thing as Rachel?
No, definitely. Since I talk about it, I believe I started paying attention to it last January. So I kind of was excited about it. Hopefully for my senior year, I'll be able to get some free food, free gear or something. So I kind of started making steps towards it. I didn't think it would actually finalize or actually come true, but no, I definitely was paying attention to it.
Now, did you have people reaching out to you right away to offer their help, or did you have to go and find someone to help you?
Well, I had a couple guys because my brother is a football player at Clemson, Galloway, big time social media person. Him and his girlfriend are famous on TikTok and etc. So obviously from him, I just learned a lot from him in terms of, who to trust, who not to trust. So a lot of people hit me up, but I kind of had to just push them to the side just because of, I asked him a whole bunch of questions and trying to see, his insight on it and stuff like that. So, I mean, people hit me up, but I had to deny a lot of them just because I feel like they didn't have my best interest or, I didn't click with them the way I wanted to. So.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about that also. Rachel, for you, I saw, so you have a deal with the Braves, and you got that because you saw them post something on Instagram and you commented, and that's how it kind of took place, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, y'all probably saw the post that was like, hey, we're looking for college athletes. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. So I was just like, I'll comment, see what happens. And then a month later, they contacted me back and were like, hey, would you like to actually do it? And I was like, yes, I would. It was crazy.
Yeah, because you were just saying you didn't think that it would necessarily affect sports other than big time basketball and football. So were you surprised to see that, hey, it could work for you too as a gymnast?
Absolutely. I mean, people have shown already that not just football and basketball are the main sports that can get these NIL deals. Other sports like women's sports and Olympic college athletes, like they can get these deals too. And I think that especially getting the Braves, it made me realize that is even more true.
Yeah. Brevin, you made a really good point that you guys have to do so much more now. You have to think about like paying taxes, right? On getting deals like this, or how to facilitate your different deals. Are there people helping you with that at school? Is the school kind of saying, here, we're going to teach you and coach you now about this new NIL stuff, or you're completely on your own and you have to Brevin, like you said, like, how do you know that you need to even ask the questions to the people who want to represent you to make sure that they're a good fit?
Well, I think from my experiences, I've had a lot of communication with compliance here and at my old school in Charleston. So moving with that, I kind of just knew I had to just be on my P's and Q's whenever it came to moving a certain way and being, make sure I'm doing everything the right way, because I don't want to get caught up. Because obviously now we had a meeting the other day about it, and we're not just dealing with compliance anymore. We're dealing with, the FBI and, actually serious people. So we gotta make sure that we're on our P's and Q's whenever it comes to that. So yeah. So I mean, they're starting to do a little bit more here as I guess it gets more popular, because I think a lot of people around here are starting to get more deals and stuff like that as we go along. So at first, like in the summer, whenever it first passed, really didn't have that much information on it. But as time goes on, we're starting to get more information on it, starting to meeting about it more.
Rachel, are they helping you guys there?
Yeah. So there's a lot of rules they explained. In the summer, we had some sessions all the athletes had to attend. It was with this company we partnered, Altius. So they taught us like all the Georgia and NCAA rules that we need to follow, tips on like building your brand image and who to trust and all that. We had like, I think 8 sessions, and they were very helpful. But overall, like UGA can't like do much more than that, but on advising us to get an NIL. So
right. That's clutch right there. I wish we had something like that.
Oh, you guys didn't have any sort of summit or any sort of education on it?
Say it again. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry, Brevin, you.
Oh, my fault. Hold on, can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
So you guys didn't I know you kind of transferred. So you didn't have any sort of education or help in like branding yourself or how to handle all the different rules?
Nah, everything I did has been on my own. I haven't had any help from day one in terms of, from a school or anything like that. Kind of just been talking to people and kind of just people within my network, just kind of helping me out, giving me tips and clues like that, but nothing from like a school or anything like that, or an organization.
I know one of the things that I feel like is a course they should teach in college, but they don't, is how to manage money and how to pay taxes and do things like just being a regular adult. Like I've never used calculus, but those classes
exactly.
are helpful. But for you guys, are they changing things at all? Or how do you even know now what to do? It sounds like, Rachel, maybe you have had some guidance, but Brevin, are you just relying on, luckily, that you had a network already in place?
Yeah, and I feel like I just signed with one of the guys that was on here in the last panel. So he's gonna help me out a lot going forward. I feel like I got a good group around me now that's gonna teach me the ins and outs of things and the smart ways to go about things. So I'm excited now for it. I feel like I'm a lot more confident in what's gonna happen in the next 7 months than I was 2 months ago, just because I feel like I've built a team up from the ground that I can really, really trust and get along with well.
What are your coaches saying about all of this? Obviously, the school has to say one thing, but in the locker room, behind closed doors, what do the coaches say?
Well, speaking from my experiences, our coaches is loving it. Because obviously he wants to see everybody win. He wants everybody to be, he feels like players should have been getting paid for a minute now. So obviously to see it come true is obviously good for him, but it's not as easy as people think. Like getting paid everybody's not getting paid. That's the sad thing. And that's the thing I wish was kind of easier to manage, I guess, because I feel like some people have a upper hand than others when it comes to it. But yeah, I mean, he's happy to see everybody getting paid and getting some kind of deal out of it.
Rachel, what about for you?
I mean, with my coaches, because of the state rules in Georgia, they can't really talk to us much about it. So, I mean, I get comments here and there, like congrats on the Braves deal. That was really exciting. And, but I do talk to like compliance and stuff a little bit about it. It's just, we keep it very, mostly out of the gym because of the rules.
Right. Brevin, what you said, you wish everybody could have the same kind of deals and everyone could be making money from this. But I think there's something to be said about if you have a big social media presence, you're probably more likely to get these kind of deals. I'm curious in the locker rooms, if one athlete or a couple athletes, maybe even if they're not the best guys on the team or the best women on the team, and they have these deals and they're making a lot of money, how that affects the locker room dynamics.
I don't think, well, I know here, I don't feel like there will be like any envy or any jealousy or something or nothing like that. I think the relationship that I have with my guys is a lot deeper than just money and material things. So I feel like whenever I do like the deals that I've signed or the videos that I've made or whatever, like they're congratulating me, showing love, not like hating or anything like that, because I think they know how it is at the end of the day. You kind of have to have that social media presence in order to get certain things or to bring attention to you. So that's kind of just how it is over here.
Rachel?
I mean, for my team, we're very close too. We bring each other up. They've congratulated me on everything I've done, and I also try to help them and see if I have any contacts I can give to them to help them get NIL deals too.
Yeah, do you guys almost kind of work with your teammates and think about maybe doing group deals?
I've thought about it. I don't think we haven't done anything yet, but yeah, I'd definitely be interested in doing that. And so we talk about it.
Brevin?
Yeah, we've talked about it, but it's just like my personality is a lot more outgoing, and I'm just kind of like just out there. And so like a lot of the guys on the team are more conservative and just kind of to themselves. So it's kind of like I kind of got to do this on my own type thing. So that's the position I'm in.
So because your personality is out there, do you find that your teammates are okay with it, or do you sense, I don't want to say jealousy because obviously you can't say that's going to mess up the team, but like, do you find that guys are looking at you like, wait a minute, you're kind of advancing yourself over the team? How does that work?
I don't think anybody thinks of it like with that kind of mindset that I'm like advancing over, like just I'm better than anybody else. I don't think anybody thinks of it like that.
Yeah.
They kind of just know, like I kind of came in like to BC as kind of like a social media figure from like my Instagram and stuff like that. So like whenever I got here, I guess I wouldn't say it was kind of expected, but they kind of just expected it, like that I would be like the one getting deals and stuff like that and the attention. So I kind of just came with it. It wasn't like it came out of the blue. It kind of was expected, I guess you could say, in terms of like how they viewed it.
Do they ask you for tips on how to have a better social media presence?
Definitely. I definitely spoke about the quality of pictures for sure. I said, you got to have some good quality pictures on the gram now.
That's the tip. What makes a good quality picture for you?
I don't know. I mean, it's all about the cameraman. I got a couple camera guys that I work with and they kind of just hook me up with stuff, but I can't really say it because I feel like for males and females, it's different.
Oh.
I feel like as a male, I kind of have to be a little bit more conscious of it, if that makes sense, like of how I represent myself.
How to explain that?
All right, so for example,
Rachel,
like I feel like
your face is exactly what my face is. What?
No. It's nothing bad at all. It's nothing bad at all. It's just that I feel like as an African American male, I feel like I kind of have to be not more professional, but I kind of just have to hold myself to a higher standard in terms of like where I come from and stuff like that. I kind of can't be kind of engaged with that kind of audience or that kind of target for what I'm trying to do in the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be really conscious of your brand. And now we know anything you say or do anywhere on social media can be taken a different way. I mean, in college, I couldn't even imagine taking on that kind of pressure, let alone adding that to being a student athlete. Rachel, do you feel that too, that kind of pressure to make sure you're a very curated presence?
I mean, we've always had like a standard of the team to make sure our social media is almost, I don't want to say acceptable, but what you want it to be and what you think is good to show the world. So nothing that you wouldn't want like your grandparents to see or something. But I've always been but like pretty into social media and look in my posts. So especially with this Braves deal, like I like to keep my content to me. Like I don't want to change myself with any deals. So I keep my content what I usually post because I've already posted a picture of the Braves game before. So it's just something I usually do, you know.
It's on brand for you. Yeah. Brevin, you said you got like 40 to 50 DMs from companies that wanted to work with you. How do you choose which ones you will work with and which ones you won't?
So that was a tough question for me, and especially coming, first when the deal first signed, or not deal first signed, but whenever everything first signed, it was just about like which one actually was, and it's not even a cocky way, but which one was actually worth my time, or like financially and just like in general of what they were asking for, because a lot of people were asking for something and then not giving what my agent thought was the accurate amount. So obviously, if he couldn't negotiate the right deal, then obviously that was going to be denied. So that's kind of what it was going for. Obviously, I wanted to work with everybody because I was happy to get the DMs, and obviously the dollar signs look good. But at the same time, it's just like it's not worth it. And then you also can't be affiliated with every single company that DMs you. You're gonna have to say no to people eventually, just because eventually you're gonna cross paths with two different companies that may end up wanting the same thing, and then you can't work with one because you just worked with one previously. So you got to keep that in mind too whenever you go about it.
Don't say any names here of companies, but have you had situations, or are you predicting having situations where a company will want to work with you and it doesn't kind of agree with what your brand is?
You talking about my personal brand?
Yeah. Or just kind of like you were saying earlier, you have kind of an image that you want to portray and you want to stay true to yourself. So could you see a situation, or have you had a situation where you felt like it wasn't in your best long-term interest to work with a brand?
No, definitely. I definitely have. And like, especially what Rachel said, I'm big on keeping my content the same. Like, I don't want to post 10, 11 basketball pictures or outfit pictures and then do something random at a zoo or something like that. Like, I just wouldn't want to do that. Or like, I would have to do something that I actually want to do. So that's definitely been something that I've had a problem with, just because I wanted to be something that I actually want to do.
Right. And like, Rachel, do you feel like your followers will sense kind of that it's inauthentic if you're posting a bunch of stuff and then all of a sudden, like, you're at a zoo?
Yeah. I mean, so the ads or partnerships that I'm looking to deal with is I just want my content to stay the same. So like, my followers might not even know it's an ad. Like, I posted for the Braves. It was just another post for me. And it's just exactly what I feel is consistent with what I continually post.
Yeah, I work with brands too sometimes. And I know when they get really specific about the things that they want in a post, where it kind of makes it impossible to even be yours. And it's so clearly an ad that they've decided what to do. It stands out. And I feel like my followers are kind of, they flip next, or they don't really pay attention to it because they can tell that it was paid for. Brevin, yeah, you guys are both nodding, so you get it. And it's better for the brands to kind of let you have some freedom, real freedom in how you're posting, right?
Yeah, I like that, because I feel like I don't like going by scripts, just because I feel like, just like you said, like, my followers are definitely know, like, if I post something and I normally get around like 15,000 likes, if I post an ad, probably 4,000. It's just not gonna happen, just because they know it's fake. They know it's not what I normally would post, so they just kind of just skim over it like it's nothing.
Yeah, they can tell it was paid, and that you're probably not really feeling authentic about it. I had a brand that told me like specifically 10 different slides that I had to post, and what to say on each one, and it didn't do very well. And then something I'll post organically, one post will get tons of swipe ups on that. So that's definitely something. There's critics of NIL will say that when these athletes can make money in college, they're more likely to bolt and leave the program or leave school and college athletics early because they're making money. Do you guys agree with that?
I don't, because if I had 4 years of this, I would stay.
Okay.
Just because of all the perks of it. Like, obviously, as a college athlete, that's a very, very valuable time in your life, I feel like, for me, because I've been in college. This is my 6th year. So if I was able to do this for 6 years straight, first of all, the money would be crazy. And then secondly, you would just be able to make so many networks and connections with other brands and, people that you may want to work with in the future. So like, I don't see why people would, obviously the money is like a different thing, but for me, I really value the time that I've spent in college trying to meet other people and just be a college athlete. I feel like that experience is a once in a lifetime.
Rachel?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's not just about the money especially in gymnastics. There's no pro gymnastics after college. So these 4 years are all you have, and you get connections, especially with NIL. You get life experiences. You get to learn about more business aspects, because we don't really have the time to do like internships in the summer because we're usually training year round. So this NIL actually helped me get to know like more business side of it, and it's kind of somewhat internship type thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Does this
Yeah.
kind of affect how you both look at possible careers after college?
Yeah, I mean, I with the Braves too, like this is a lot of like social media and stuff that you have to post. So I'm an MIS major and I wanted to do business analytics, but I'm kind of leaning towards more sports marketing now because I just enjoy it so much. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely did that same thing for me, because obviously I want to play basketball professionally, but I've started to really take a deep dive into what I want to do after the fact. So I'm trying to do some type of either sports broadcasting or, just trying to find some kind of other thing, whether it be influencer stuff or, sports broadcasting, sports marketing, anything in that kind of area. I've definitely opened my eyes to it. And, the people that I've met from it seem like great, genuine people. So I feel like that's a field that I would like to be in.
Yeah, I've definitely seen when athletes retire or they're done with their sport, it is a very, very hard transition if they haven't kind of thought about what they're going to do afterwards. So you guys kind of have a leg up and something you can fall back on. Do you, a lot of the most successful athletes, they don't spend their money that they make on the court or on the field or wherever they're doing, they spend their endorsement money. Have you guys both paid attention to how these athletes do their endorsement deals, or is this new to you? Like you see stacked on every single commercial. Are you paying attention to that and saying, okay, I want to be like that too, or how could I do it?
Definitely. I definitely aspire to be like that. Hopefully I can one day. But like I don't know the ins and outs of everything that he goes through. So like, I feel like it's kind of like, I'm just seeing the good part of it. Obviously you don't know the business aspect of it. I'm just seeing him on TV. So I feel like, dang, I just forgot the question. My mind just went blank. What was the question again?
It's a very long question. Just like, how much do you pay attention to? And Rachel, I'm curious to your answer to this too. I think because as a woman, there's not as much women endorsement deals, and they're certainly not worth the money that men are making. So are you paying extra attention now and seeing what kind of brands are working specifically with women?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely increasing exposure and opportunities for women, Olympic sports, and unrepresented athletes. Like, it's crazy the amount of change that's happened. I mean, when I was growing up, I went to a club gym with Nastia Lukin, Olympic all-around champion in gymnastics, and I noticed she did a commercial with Subway, like every here and there. Like, you only really got sponsorships as gymnasts if you won the all-around gold at the Olympics. So not many people did it. And now that there's so many more people doing it, especially in college, I mean, especially I hear younger girls are looking up to the college gymnasts doing NIL deals, and they're like, oh, I want to go there. It's definitely made an impact for sure.
How do you guys handle, or if you have already, in-season versus off-season endorsement deals? Do you think of them differently? Brevin, you can go ahead first.
Okay, my fault.
No,
I was waiting on her to answer.
I'm directing the traffic here. It's not your fault. Don't worry.
I was about to ask Rachel, when does y'all season start?
January.
Okay, so everything's been out of season. Because for me, out of season, I've just been like, honestly, I don't know how it's going to be in season. I feel like everything may ramp up just because of like, if I have the season I want to have, then I feel like everything will be just 10 times better. Just because of, obviously, your name will be out there more. You'll be on TV. Your face will be shown a lot more. So I haven't really got a taste of both yet. Because right now, I think, because from what I've been talking to and what I've been hearing, a lot of stuff isn't going to happen until like I'm obviously in the limelight. Which, I mean, I'm happy to get the deals that I've got now, but it's just going to be a different level whenever I think you're in season and you're, actively competing in events weekly and, seeing your face and seeing your name all over the news or whatnot.
And Rachel, for you, would it make a difference what kind of deals you would potentially do in season versus off season?
Yeah, I think there's two parts that come to mind with this. Is I have probably a lot more time in off season versus in season because we're not traveling or doing competitions. Sorry. So school and gym are definitely my number one priority, and then comes the NIL deals. But also I think it will definitely bring, if NIL and I can get more deals during season, it'll definitely bring more fans into the stands, bring more attention to not just me, but my whole team and gymnastics in general. I think it could boost everyone.
That's interesting. Do you guys feel like, Brevin, what percentage would you say importance you'd place on your success on the court in terms of your deals versus your abilities on social media and your presence on social media? Like, what percentage matters more, or are they equal?
That's actually a good question, because I actually was just talking to my coach about that today, because obviously if you go out there, say if I go out there and average 4 points a game and I'm not really what I'm supposed to be this year, I feel like the attention may not be there as much as it should have been if I'm averaging 15 points a game. Like, I just feel like if you're not performing the way you should be, then the attention is just not going to be drawn to you, and you're not going to be like a big, not prospect, but like somebody that companies may want to work with for influence per se.
Right.
So I feel like you definitely have to, I would say 70-30, you definitely have to perform and actually handle your business on the court. So, but on the other hand, you can still be an influencer and still post stuff and still be friendly, social, all that kind of stuff too, though. But I just feel like you definitely have to be somewhat of a good performer in order to still get the whole, like, to be able to really, really get the whole benefits of NIL.
Certainly helps. Rachel, what do you think?
In my opinion, in gymnastics, I think it's almost the opposite. It's more, I've noticed that it's not as much how well you do in the, like, on the competition floor as your social media presence.
Yeah.
I mean, there's big names in gymnastics, and some people have gone up in big names in gymnastics because of their social media following, and since NIL started. So I think that almost boosted their gymnastics exposure.
Yeah, I think that that's really interesting. Basketball, I mean, it has a bigger audience. So people are naturally watching on TV and they're seeing that. And so if you're playing really well, that brings attention to you. Whereas one of the cool things about NIL is that, like Rachel, how you were saying, even if there's not as many eyes on TV, if you have that social media presence, then you're able to make money. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in basketball or football in order to succeed with this, which is nice. I don't know, Brevin, I could see if a guy is at the end of the bench and they never play, but they're so hysterical on social media, I could see them doing well still.
No, definitely could. But it's just like, I guess that is true. But I guess I'm only thinking about the athletic performance part, because I feel like that's what gets on the news and that's what makes headlines and stuff like that. But nah, if you definitely, like you said, if you have a social media presence, any kind of social media presence, people will be drawn to you either way. So
how do you think a coach would feel if there was, you don't have to say your coach, but a coach, how do you think they would feel if you are a guy at the end of the bench, or you're not performing well, but you are really big on social media and you're making a lot of money from that? How would the coaches feel?
I'm lucky enough to be in the position I am where I have a great relationship with him. So like, he just wants me to succeed in whatever it is. Like, we just had a talk, literally a meeting on Monday about it. And so we were just talking about how like what he views for me in this year and stuff like that. And obviously he wants to help me any way he can. So obviously I think he would be a little bit more mad though if I wasn't performing the way I needed to be though. And then like because obviously when it comes to the season, like Rachel said, you're not going to have as much time, so you can't really devote all of your time to NIL deals. So I feel like that could be a problem if that came up. But other than that, though, I feel like if you just were able to just manage your time wisely, then I think everything will be straight.
Rachel?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we talk about here, when you're in the gym, you're in the gym. Your head's not anywhere else. When you're in school, it's at school. Like, everything's separate. So not bringing anything else into the mix. And so NIL doing well and not doing well in the gym, I feel like you almost might need to take a little bit step back, focus on where your priorities lie, and see where you go from there.
For brands that want to work with you or with just student athletes in general, what would you say, like what kind of tips or advice would you give them in terms of what they want from you, like what they're asking for? What's enticing to you?
Dang, that's a good question.
Aside from money, because we all know that's.
I think just like what me and Rachel were talking about earlier, just letting us be ourselves. I feel like Like, obviously, if the money is worth it, then obviously you'll just conform to whatever. But I feel like, but I
Don't
feel
say
like
that
if,
quite yet. Don't say that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really experienced no crazy deal yet, but I'm just saying though, like, if, but like, if you're able to kind of just be yourself, I think it'll make things easier. And not only that, I feel like you'll be able to enjoy the process that you go through too, because you won't feel like you're becoming something you're not, or you're just doing stuff out of spite or just for the money. Because I feel like that's a big part of life too. It's just like enjoying what you do, and obviously you can make money along with it. But I feel like if you don't enjoy it, then that just takes half the joy out of it.
Rachel?
Yeah, staying true to myself and my personal brand. I don't want to come off as being fake because I'm partnering with a deal that asked me to do this, this, and this. But I totally agree with Brevin. Like, just making sure my content stays true to myself.
Are there any brands that either of you see and dream brands that you would want to work with?
I really want New Balance, man. I love New Balance, especially since Boston College is now New Balance. So like, I was just like, dang, I really want to be New Balance.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I feel
New
like
Balance.
New Balance is making kind of maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this, but like kind of a comeback. Like they're cool.
Oh, they definitely, and that's what I was trying to do. Like, I feel like from my thing, I'm trying to get the image, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, New Balance has the little dad image vibe. They got that kind of thing going with it. So I'm trying to push everybody away from that kind of vibe this year while I'm here at PC. So hopefully they catch on to it and they mess with me down the line. But if not, it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I've partnered, working on a partnership with the local leotard brand, Layout Leos. So with the staying true to myself, I think partnering with athletic equipment, like I wear wrist guards, on vault or grips or some athletic equipment would be cool, or even athletic wear.
Okay.
Because I wear that almost every day.
What are things, if you're looking at a brand, what are things that you find important when you're deciding, or if you were to be deciding if you want to work for them? Like maybe the top 3 things that you're going to look for that makes it exciting for you. Brevin?
I would have to say audience. Audience is the number one thing, because I feel like if we don't have somewhat of a similar audience, I feel like it could be beneficial too though to have a new audience. But at the same time though, I feel like that kind of goes with me being fake and not kind of who I like genuinely am.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I would have to say is how they brand everything, just because I feel like a lot of companies do a great job of branding and they would do a great job at promoting me and my brand. So I feel like you have to be able to do that at a really, really, really good level, and that'll definitely be attractive to me. I can't think of a third one though, but branding is the most important one, I would say, just because I like looking at people's Instagram, seeing cool pictures, you know, seeing everything detailed, outlined, etc. So that kind of just like pops out to me whenever I look at a brand.
Okay. Rachel?
Yeah. Can you say the question again? Sorry.
Just when
thinking.
if you were to be looking at, like, let's just say you're watching TV or you're looking at Instagram, what kind of things jump out at you about a brand that makes you want to work with them?
I guess how they present themselves would be good, like their social media, kind of the content they post, if it aligns with my values and what I believe in. So that would be good. Like Brevin said, audience is good to have good followers, so it's almost like bringing each other up on social media. I think that's important. Yeah, I don't know what else.
Bringing each other up. That's it's really good to hear. I feel like that's kind of a new wave. It makes me happy to hear that you guys are thinking like that to help each other, and it's not selfish, right?
Yeah. Not at all.
Oh, looks like we have someone jumping in. Actually, on that note, I also like BYU. They did a deal where with a corporate sponsor that allowed for walk-ons, their tuition to be paid. How do you guys think that affects the whole landscape of sports in college?
I think that's honestly probably the best thing about it. Just being able to help people, just make others' lives easier. I feel like that's crazy in terms of just like a company doing that or an organization doing that, helping others, you know, pay for their school or whatever. I feel like that's like the best thing about the NIL is just changing people's lives, because obviously you're changing their lives and making them just happy. So I feel like that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Helping other people, like with the NIL, if that's what you can do, like benefiting your team or whoever with these deals, I think it's really great to have.
Did I miss the question and answer portion, Chris? Do you want me to open it up to questions? Did I go over and ask all my questions?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but that's because you're so good at your job and you've engaged these two so well that it was a fantastic conversation. I will leave it to you to make any closing remarks if you'd like to.
No, it was really great meeting you guys. I feel very excited. I think it's nice. I feel old in a way, but it's nice hearing the kids in college that you guys care about helping each other, and it's totally not a selfish thing. Because I think people who are older, especially in the media, they can get negative about it, but it's really refreshing hearing it, even though you're going to BC.
I'm gonna learn about that rivalry soon enough.
It's a big rivalry, mostly in hockey.
Hockey, yeah.
Which I'm sure you'll learn about. But we do have Raising Cane's on our campus, so
definitely. Yep. So so right now y'all winning. I think we got a Chipotle right now. We got to work on that.
Hey, don't say anything bad about Chipotle. They might do a deal with you. You never know.
I love Chipotle, but that's just the only option.
Yeah, don't speak bad about any brands that you want to work with anymore.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was a fantastic session. Rachel, congratulations on the Braves deal. That is super exciting. We're thrilled for you. Brevin, I have some good news for you. Chris Davis, the CMO of New Balance, is somebody that we know. So I will help connect the dots there. And Chris, I
appreciate that, big guy. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. This is what it's all about. This is why we're here today. And that's why, we kind of did this a little bit last minute, so we weren't able to get as many athletes as we'd like, though we have a heck of a panel coming up in a second. But next time around, we're going to do more of this. And really, it's all about, there's hundreds of brand marketers in this audience right now, and they're here watching you guys. And what I'm hoping more than anything is that you guys end up getting business out of this, because that's really what it's all about.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Kristine, you were brilliant. Thank you so much. We're going to do these again in the future, so hopefully you guys can join us. Thank you guys all.
Thanks.
Definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
you. Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we've made it to the last panel of the day, and it is certainly not least. This is an incredible panel. We actually built this whole entire NIL day around this flagship panel. We could not be more